All right, so this is fight 185. It is up in Chiang Mai at Taipei Stadium. This is actually 3 days after my last fight, fight 184, against Sutsayam Sorsumali, who's like 59 kilos. I'm like 47 kilos, significant. I'm fighting Thananchanok Keawsamrit, who is 54 kilos. She's the 51 or 48 kilo champion. She's been world champion for years. Thananchanok is really, really good. There she is. She's amazing. So the first time I fought Thananchanok, I went to Lampang, which is where she's from, and I was a Chiang Mai fighter at the time, and she was kind of my first like big level up fight. And I went to Lampang. It was a daytime fight, which is so weird in Thailand because it's really hot. It was some kind of Lampang festival, and I remember sitting on the grass, and gamblers were coming up. They wanted to find me. They're like, who's fighting Thananchanok? Because she's the local hero. And they were like circling around, and I'm the only female fighter there. So they're like, that one. And they were looking at me, and they're like, you're very small. You're too small. And I was like, whatever, dude. Like, you don't have to come over and be all like rude to me about my size. But I didn't know who Thananchanok was. Like, I was totally unaware of her reputation and prowess, and now I know her really well. We fought together like 8 times over the years that I've been in Thailand. This is 4 years ago from me voicing it now, and I think this is probably fight 7 or 8. We haven't fought in a while, so it was, you know, within like 5 years we fought each other 8 times. She's very fumeur in her like technical performance of fighting. I kind of geek out about her. Like, anytime there's a photo of her fighting, she's like a poster. Like, her technique is just so beautiful in still frame that it's like her hair is perfect. She can do a little like K-pop swoop of it while she's fighting. She's just incredible, and she's really, really hard. She's a challenge for me to fight all the time. Our styles are the classic Muay Femur, Muay Khao matchup. So shockingly, I have beat Thananchanok. She's much bigger than me. She's not as big as some of my opponents who are, you know, like 10, 11, 12 kilos bigger than me. She's like a solid 5 in this fight, maybe like 7, quite a lot. But on the Sylvie scale, being like 5 to 7 kilos bigger is like not that big. But she's much bigger than me, and I have managed to beat her. I think 2 out of the 8 times that we've fought, I beat her, and it was just like amazing. This fight, anytime I fight her, the challenge is immense. Like, even in fights where I beat her, it's so hard. It's such a hard fight. She's just a very, very difficult style for me. And it's just the challenges that she presents to me are really hard over the whole arc of my career to correct and improve on and things like this. And what's bizarre about it, or not bizarre about it, but what's interesting about it is that because she's such a performative fighter, and Muay Thai is a performative sport. You have judges saying who won the fight, and it, in Thailand, truly, truly matters how you perform the fight. You can be landing much more than your opponent does, but if you look like you're about to cry doing it, it's not as much of a like blowout. It's not a computer calculating or like using those little ticker thumb things, who hit who. That's not how sports are judged when you have judges, and they shouldn't be. That would be an incredibly boring way to watch Muay Thai or boxing. So I've had to learn how to perform more than I would just as a Muay Khao kind of power fighter. Like, it's kind of self-evident when I hurt my opponent, but I have to learn how to perform in between the things that I'm doing that are kind of more powerful. So she's actually forced me to find finesse that I never had to rely on before, but you have to actually rely on it even as a power fighter. And meeting and becoming the like mini-me of Diesel Noi. He's such a mentor to me. A lot of what he's taught me is about what she forces me to do, which is this like performance element. You can't just be super strong. You have to appear invincible also. Ah, I just did a car hop move and it landed on her. That probably pissed her off. Look how good she looks. I'm gonna like fangirl watching this fight. She throws elbows, so my guard is up. She's not like an elbow fighter. She doesn't throw a lot of them, but I have to watch out for elbows from Thananchanok. She's amazingly good at, if you catch her kick, she just bashes your face in like 0.2 seconds it takes you to figure out what it is you should have done instead of caught her kick. Nice teep. She actually, I've had success teeping her in early rounds. She tries to catch it and never actually does. She looks good doing it, but I think it might have a kind of like overall effect of showing ineffectiveness that she never actually catches it. Look at how beautifully she just kind of like maintains her space all the time. That was a very fast first round. I was geeking out too hard, so I didn't pay attention to how fast that was going. So I'm coming off of beating Keawsamrit in a very close fight. If you go back and watch fight 184, I basically won that fight in the last 30 seconds of it. It was very, very close, and I actually was not winning it in round 4 and things like this. So I had a positive like success coming into this fight, but Thananchanok's in my head. Like we know each other. I'm a big fan of her. We fought each other many times. We know what each other does. But with her, it's if she has a lead, she stays in the lead the whole time. Like you have to kind of crush her early. You can't let her take her space ahead because you'll never catch up to her. Never let her have that much of a lead. She's not good at reclaiming a lead. If you get ahead of her, she's not good at coming from behind. I'm okay with coming from behind in my style of fighting. Thananchanok has to like basically keep creating bigger and bigger gaps in her lead from early, which she's really good at doing because of her style, because of her performance, because of her finesse. Sometimes I make a mistake of letting the first 2 rounds be too slow because she just looks fucking amazing and she takes that little air bubble gap and then she just kind of goes away with it. So I kind of have to use the early rounds to tire her out, or I don't know. I fought her once with food poisoning. It was the worst. I was like, just don't shit my pants or throw up and I'll be fine. It was really rough. So here she's just kind of gliding backwards and kind of like water bending the weapons I'm throwing at her. She's not actually trying to hurt me with those hooks and body punches, maybe the body punch, but she's actually, because it's round 2, she's not putting forth a lot of exertion. She's just gonna look really good. I'm trying, but you can see how easily she snuffs my attempts because she's really good at handling that space. If you actually just watch her feet, you can see how well she manages the space between us. And I'm kind of like never sure where I'm landing on the ground, so I'm not sure how close I am. So my weapons are not like organized, to borrow the word from Sagat, organization of like how you put things together. Ah, the little like hair toss, she's amazing. I'm even mesmerized watching this right now. I just came at her with a bunch of stuff and she just kind of like melted away from most of it and then comes back with the same combo she's been throwing this whole time, which is that hook body punch. And it looks like she's just controlling everything. Like she's not controlling what I'm throwing, but it's like I'm throwing 9 things and then she throws 2 that are like completely distinct. Yeah. Her hooks are incredibly wide. I think she's actually just trying to like slap. I think she's just trying to like slap the side of me. That can actually be super effective because you push air into someone's ear and it sucks for days. I've had both my eardrums popped from fights and sparring. It takes forever to heal. A perforated eardrum is just so annoying. I can't remember whether this fight resulted in a perforated eardrum or not, but if it did, it's from those fucking slappy hooks. I've had perforated ears from her before. It's probably this fight. Putting Vaseline on, because now we're going into a scoring round, and Dang is like, she's gonna elbow Sylvie for sure, because the like path to victory with Sylvie is elbows. So Dang is telling me to throw in body punches and keep my hands up. So basically you like combo up top and then throw a body punch. She's throwing body punches, but a good way to fight a fighter like Thananchanok is to force their gas tank to implode. A really good way to do that is body punches. Like super finessed fighters, like super femur fighters, are terrified of getting tired. Samart didn't look great tired. Somrak did not look good tired. So you really want to like drain the gas tank, because without the like energy to look as good as you want to look, you start to not look good, and you're like pulling them into the deep end of the water with you. Oh, I switched stance there for a second. Ah! I don't know where that knee came from. That was to my closed side, so that's not a big point, but she chased me down pretty good on that. I need to stay closer to her, which is not that hard to do because her weapons are not painful. But she just controls, see how she just like interrupts all the time? She controls the space so nice. She's doing an annoying little jab on me, and it makes her look so good. Like every step I take is just kind of like an effort. Oh, she's so hard to fight. This is how I've beat her before, is when I get her in the clinch, I can start to drain her. See how nicely postured up she is? She's not letting me break her root in the clinch. She's not trying super hard to score back at me. She's actually just kind of kneeing. That pissed her off. What's she gonna do? So when I put her on the ground, I have to then prepare myself for the retaliation, because she's a real fighter. And when something happens to you, you don't get it back right away, but you're like, noted, I'm gonna come get that point back. But what I was saying, she doesn't try to score in the clinch very much. She tries to kind of like nullify it so that the ref will come and break you. But she's really good at keeping her posture up. Dang's getting excited. This is how I've beat her before. That's a nice tee. Come on, Sylvie, you're on the porch. Cutting an angle. Carhot would like that. Tagging someone on the way out. That's where her like wide hook actually looked really good. Come on, Sylvie. What did Dang say? Body punch. There's like a glitch in that. I don't know what that was. This is a live stream, so maybe there's like a glitch in the connection for a second. That's probably didn't miss much, but there's a little bit of a bamf to the other side of the ring. So it's a scoring round, and it was good for me because I put her on the ground. Good for Sylvie. But Thananchanok is just... So Kevin's saying drag her to the middle, don't let the clinching take place on the rope. One of the reasons to do that is that the ref breaks you on the rope, whereas they don't break you when you're active in the center of the ring. So I've done a nice little climb. I've like a little possum that's like gotten onto the first branch of a little sapling. I've done that, but I have to do something kind of, what does Joe Hong Tong say? He says, make some mention. You have to do something that makes people in the audience, which means also the judges go, like I saw that. Throwing someone on the ground the way that I did is that, but it has to be like inarguable. Thananchanok doesn't do any one thing that's inarguable. She just looks fucking awesome every second. Like every moment she looks amazing. So she doesn't actually have to do any big one dynamic thing. She can actually just do those kind of like, you know, hook body punch that don't necessarily land all the time, but she's so on balance and so beautiful and taking care of space so beautifully all the time that it's like this melody has not been broken, whereas I have to have some kind of like bam crescendo in order to break the hypnotic beauty of what she does. See how she's snuffing my punches with her arms out? I'm coming to be like, up, 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 up. And she's just pushing my guard and nothing's coming out. This is stuff I'm working on now, 4 years later. And Thananchanok's like, yeah, I've been doing this since I was 8. Little hop in. She waited for my leg to come down and then landed that knee. It was good. Oh, she's coming back. She's coming back. I put her down again. Oh, she's got a dern. What? I did not read that moment. Because I'd put her on the ground, she had to come get that point back. And she actually was timidly coming towards me. I decided to dern on her. If I had not done that, if I had been like, nope, bitch, you gotta come get me, it would have had a better narrative than what I chose to do here. But Sylvie's gonna dern. That's how it works. Oh, again! It's not nap time, Thananchanok. Get up. Oh, I think she just cut me. I'm talking shit in my voiceover, and I think I just got cut. Oh, tried to throw an elbow back at her. Didn't do anything. See how I'm just like locking out her arms, and she's kind of like, against the ropes, get off me? The ref is looking at me. I'm definitely bleeding. Come on. Come on. She's like, she does this thing where she hooks her foot into my thigh. He's having me see the doctor. So here's the thing, and you need to know this. When you go see a doctor in a fight, you have to demonstrate that you want to keep fighting. They will call a fight if you look like you don't want to keep fighting because they're reading you. We actually have a photo of this that's quite famous, of me telling the doctor, die, 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 die. Like, yeah, I want to keep fighting. Especially as women, if you're bleeding and you look kind of like shocked, they'll fucking call it even if it's not getting in your eye. So you have to be like, yeah, 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 like I totally want to keep fighting. Oh, she pulled me down on that. Come on. There it is. There it is.
Very good, baby.
Memories. I like so many. That was a good round for me, but this cut makes it difficult. Cuts are not a point in and of themselves. Like if you cut someone, you don't like win the point or win the fight. But in the same way that people are looking at performance, they're looking at attitudes, things like this. In that moment where I made the wrong decision in that round that I was talking about, where I put her on the ground and I started backing up and I'm like, come get me, and then I started durning on her again, that's just the wrong choice. Like that's the wrong performance. If I'm bleeding, my performance now has to be on this razor edge between desperate, which is like, I have to come get you, and I'm still gonna come get you back because clearly you've gotten me. Like you've basically been stamped with something that your opponent did to you, and now you have to come back and like get that point back while people are being reminded of it all the time. That's why cuts. Change your options. Also keep your hands up. That was a beautiful upward elbow from her though, right? Like she threw like 3 of them, so I'm not entirely sure which one cut me. I think it was the first one, but the ref's response made it seem like the blood was a little bit delayed. Dang is telling me when I get her in that lock to just like wrench her down, to rip her down. Again, if you're a lock clincher the way that I am, when you get a lock, you don't want to be stagnant. You want to rip someone down for a number of reasons. One is to break their root. This means that their composure gets kind of fucked up, and with an opponent like Thananchanok, any chance you can break her root is really, really good. 2, it off balances them, so they can't score against you. They can't necessarily defend against your scores. And 3, it just looks like a pit bull. It's really good. Come on. So because I'm bleeding, I have to durn kind of hard, but again, on that razor edge between desperate and violent. Oh, she's got her head above mine. That's actually not a good look for me. The Kevin's too excited. Move the camera. We're clinching. Oh, a ref breaks it in the corner. I don't know where my head was. I don't think that was good for me. She lands that open side knee as I'm hopping in. I need to angle my knee a little bit over this way to intercept it. I didn't know that at the time. Oh, I'm arm hooking her. Come on. Rip, knee, elbow, knee. This is good. I'm doing good. It's very hard with the cut though. Like, it just makes your incline much steeper. So if you're trying to like sprint up it, you can't like slow down. You gotta be like, yeah, I run sand dunes all day. Oh, the ref is really looking at me. I think it's right up here. So they're, oh, sorry, it's right up here. So they're seeing whether or not it's getting in my eye. I have this little like V of scars right here that I got from a combination of a couple of fighters within a couple of days because I fight often. And it may have just reopened. Like, it might not be a new scar from Thananchanok. It may have just popped open this scar tissue. Ooh. I'm going, but my composure's not so great. I'm not really like a jangwat. My like rhythm and timing is a little bit muddled. Oh. Here's the thing about this fight. This fight was really hard for me afterwards. I felt really shitty about myself. I had a really, really hard time with this fight. Thananchanok won that fight. It was not a crazy blowout. I was actually really, really close to winning that fight. I don't remember whether I was aware of how close I was to winning that fight or whether I was just completely in my head about like, I can't fight Thananchanok. What's wrong with me? I don't know. I don't remember. I remember this being a very, very hard loss for me, and it shouldn't be. They're taking a photo of me because I'm all bloody, so they're like, let's put this in the magazine. I'm bloody for wrong. This is the thing, is you get in your head about what you think you should have done or what you can do or can't do. There's quite a lot of blood there.
Baby, you beat her the last 3 rounds.
Kevin said you beat her the last 3 rounds. Not the last round. Maybe like 3 and 4. You just get in your head about what you feel about something, but that's not necessarily how that fight actually went. Like, watching this,
Let me see.
I'm very upset.
All right.
Oh, it's right up here. That's a new one. That's a new one from Thananchanok. That one belongs to Thananchanok. That's not this one that I thought it was. Up here, that's Thananchanok. Every time you guys look at my face, you see this one up here, that's Thananchanok right there.
What?
Signature.
It was enough. Yeah, it was enough.
Oh, I'm pissed. So Kevin is saying that was enough, that I should have won that fight. And I'm like, so why did I lose? I'm like super upset. Watching this fight now, 4 years after the fact, I remember being so upset, but I don't remember how close that fight was. Like, I remember it being totally a blowout.
Talk to her.
And it wasn't.
They're cleaning it, so.
Ah, there she is. She's very sweet. Thananchanok's a very, very sweet person. That's her dad. He runs the Lampang Sports School. He has good fighters. I really like him as well. I think I'm asking him whether he accepts Farang at his Lampang school in case people wanted to go train with him. He has really good female fighters. He had this little fighter who I fought named Gulab Dam. She didn't answer the bell in like round 3 or 4 or something, but she became like world champion. I can't remember which belt at like 105 pounds, but she's not 105 pounds. She's so small. And he made her. She's so tough. I've come and cheered for her at this stadium before. I'm not sure where she is now, but he makes really good fighters. And Thananchanok is just awesome.
Oh, baby, you had that thing.
So Kevin is like, you won that fight. That was a great fight. And I'm like, only sadness. It is like that sometimes. You have to work on your mental game. It's really, really important. Hey, I'm at Taipei again.
fight 185, and I fought against Thananchanok. She was 54 kilos today, and I fought her a few times since last year, and she's such a challenging fight for me. I really like being able to fight her again and again, but I kind of keep doing the same wrong things over and again. But this was a really close fight. I probably could have won it, but I got cut. I was a little bit slow in the beginning. Some people, including myself, believe I did enough to win at the end, but there's nothing you can do. I actually really like her. She gave me a shirt of her as winner of Female Fighter of the Year from last year, which is really awesome. So that's cool, and hopefully I get to go see her gym in Lampang soon. I'll be back up here next month for fighting, so maybe I can go see her then. So very happy with the fight, even though it was a loss, and still working on it. This is why you fight people over and over again, because they make you better. So world champs are okay.